Hey you guys, I have a couple videos that I've recorded recently and I'm just trying to catch up and voice over all of them. I did actually end up getting a little bit sick with a sore throat lately, so just trying to recover from that. Not 100%, but at least feeling a little bit better. Here, I always try to coordinate with my team, so we don't usually, it's not unheard of for me to run with Robin and Midori, but we don't run frequently, so we were just trying to sort things out, and we decided that Shock and Midori would go for boss 2, and by go I just mean to Sylph Awaken, because Robin and I both have level 4 or higher rings, and so Robin's ring will revive Midori and my ring will revive Shock, and so when you're killed by the boss and revived with the ring, you lose all your awakening points and have limited rage. So we really prefer to be able to take advantage of the awakening points that they have. Here I rushed them a little, and then I didn't realize that they actually didn't have enough awakening points there, so that was my bad. Usually the first boss you at least fill up full awakening, but it went very quickly, so that wasn't the case. So this is a really nice, strong team. I don't frequently run with Robin. I don't think we have very similar times, and I have my own group, and she has people she goes with quite frequently. But when the two of us are together, we can, usually beat Spire and do very well in Dragon Invasion. So it's very fun playing with her. We're both top players on our server right now. Here it was pretty clear, I still had some more call left over from doing Spire. We wanted to get a couple of people the title, so it's pretty obvious that Robin and I could each just do one boss on our own instead of using up too much of the awakening. So yeah, that coordination is really important. For most teams, especially at a certain, usually the hurdle is boss 6 because of all those purifications and scatter shots needed. If you don't have the right class setup or class spread in your team, sometimes that's a little bit rough. But once things get tough, if you have if time is of the essence, you definitely want to coordinate and try and optimize your speed in order to give yourself some wiggle room. So here I think, okay, so it's Robin and Midori this time. I'm crossing our fingers that Shock isn't killed by. We call it the DT amongst my friends. That's probably just a thing from brawling playing EverQuest for too long. I guess like a one-shot kill, they call a DT as a death touch, and so I've picked up all these weird like gamer lingo from my friends that played EverQuest at one point. So if that's confusing, let me know and I will try to adjust for the videos. But really nice to be able to go this quickly. In order to beat 10, I think it's just pretty crazy. You need to go very, very fast. I think there's probably a team that's done it by now. I think there are some servers that have players, enough players that are around my PR that they'll be able to beat all of Dragon Invasion. I'm pretty sure that it caps out at 10 levels. I don't know how you could beat 11 or 12 or anything that much higher than 10 in just 20 minutes. Restricted by the time needed to roll the dice and to pick up everything. It's no matter how fast you go, there's definitely some sort of upper limit on how many levels you can do here. The other thing here is I don't often run Dragon Invasion with archers, so Robin likes to bring multi-shot, and that and she'll sometimes do it right at the beginning, and that ensures that we kickstart that crit bonus you see at the bottom, the 5 stack there. that gives increased damage for the whole team, and you can only get that if you have an archer on your team, which I do not regularly have. So I feel very spoiled, especially when I have Robin around, but really any archer. This boss, I mean, we're very comfortable here just because we have 3 mages. You know, I usually run things with shock, so you know, even 2 mages, having 2 people who can purify it is pretty comfortable. But if you only have 1 mage, it's good. You know, even if it's a really crappy purification rune, having the people around you bring a puri rune, especially if you know your mage dies or something, to be able to have that support through the runes. This is manageable. It's just hard with 0 to 1 mage. You know, you could try bringing Triton if somebody has a really good Triton, but for one thing, most people who have a really good Triton don't bother having purification on it, and also Triton doesn't deal a whole lot of damage. The other nice thing to use here is the E. Once you hit level 3, for your rings, you can use it to purify each other. You can take away 1 negative buff from each other. So Shock and I will, you know, frequently see us use the E to purify. And there, I was still stunned, and my E went off. So that was kind of interesting. I don't know if there's any way to exploit that in a useful way, but apparently it can happen. Yeah, I just mentioned it to them that I eat in the middle of being stunned. You know, Dragon Invasion at this point, hooves are still important. They'll still always be important to a certain extent, but maybe not as much because I'm, you know, close to maxing out all of my mounts. I probably can very soon. So really the big reward here is the gold. This is, you know, close to as much as what I would get from, well, actually, World Boss probably have to be buffed up to get as much gold as I do here. Not sure. Our World Bosses are pretty small, so it's not, you know, you usually don't get crazy income from them. But whatever it is, Dragon Invasion is super important just for the gold. I did find out one day I missed Dragon Invasion, and it only costs 1 of those tokens to do the recovery for Dragon Invasion. So I would always have 1 token with you if you're a level 80 player and, you know, you miss a day. I would definitely exchange for it. But yeah. So this guy, if you're a group that's first trying this out, I think Centauria is a better solution to this boss than Purification. Just throw up a Centauria at the beginning, and it's usually fine. I think trying to Puri those bleeds is just kind of excessive. He does do a bleed like what's on Robin and Midori here, but even with lower BR players, I don't think it's a huge deal. I forget what that bleed does, but it's only a few thousand. Here I mentioned that this is boss 8, and this guy hits really hard. He does a really tough AoE. I was mentioning that I had boxed one of my friend's tunes and beaten level 9, the 9th boss, at some point, but I completely forgot what happens. But I think from bosses 7 and on, it's all just DPS. You know, there might be a bleed, there might be something, but in general, you know, you just want to punch him out as quickly as possible and heal as little as possible while still staying alive. That's the goal. Minimal healing, but no dying. Other than, you know, those types of death. Sometimes I'll E for shock after she's been revived. Did I do it there? Yes, I did. Because, well, in that case I was sylphing, so I didn't get rage from it, but it is a turn, so usually outside of sylph you get a little bit of rage, and you get a slight heal since she doesn't come back with full HP. And this guy hits very hard. Maybe with other bosses we'll need that. With a group like this, you know, maybe with a weaker group, even if I'm taking, and I seem fine here, it's also because Robin's with me, and so she's taking a lot of hits. Most of the time, I'll usually bring a brute rune and a heal rune instead of the rage, but we wanted to go as quickly as possible, so a rage rune allows me to do more thunders outside of Sylph mode. We got pretty good rolls from what I remember of this dungeon, or I mean this round of the dungeon. Sometimes, you know, Shock and Baldwin and I will go in and, you know, we end up getting like rolling a bunch of 2s and 3s. I remember just getting 2 2s one time and just being incredibly frustrated with Wartune for the day. You know, I do, it just mathematically, probability wise, I know they do rig it a little bit towards the lower numbers to make sure that you don't get 6s and 5s all the time, because I forgot what I did the math, what the math was, but it's a very high percentage chance that every single time you're going to at least get 1, 5, or 6, and obviously that doesn't happen as much as it should, just from pure observation each day. So so I don't know how they weight it, but there's something off about it. Oh, lost Robin here. So because we were killing the bosses so quickly, I hadn't really died up until maybe this point, or maybe only once before it. No, I think that might have been my first one. What can be a little frustrating is either you end up losing the people who can be revived. You end up losing them while they just shifted into Sylph mode. That can be frustrating. Or if you just lose your top DPS person, you know, luckily Robin and I are both here, so, you know, we'll always have at least one of us around, but it can be pretty frustrating, you know, if I don't have somebody of Robin's caliber with us, you know, if I'm the one that dies, you know, 3 times within, you know, one boss, especially if it's as tough of a boss as stage 9 or 8, can be pretty frustrating. But I was actually pretty surprised how swiftly this went. Maybe I shouldn't have been as surprised, but I mean, we had 6+ minutes to go when we went into boss 9, so it was pretty, well, maybe not 6. Shock did DC at some point, but just looking pretty good here. So this is actually on my own tune the first time I had beaten boss 9, so I should probably encourage Robin to run with us more often. That would be nice. But I mean, the difference between one level of Dragon Invasion between beating 8 and 9 is pretty minimal. When you start talking maybe 2 levels, then it's pretty big. So we decided to just give boss 10 a peek, you know, knowing that it's very, very unlikely that would be able to beat him. Only have a couple minutes here. You know, I didn't see anything too special going on with this boss, so I think it's mostly just tank and spank. You know, be able to take enough damage and deal enough. He does clearly have a ton of HP, so I hit him for 1.2 million or so crit there with my Hercules Delphic, and on any of the other bosses it would have been a lot more. So he just has a ton of HP here, not a huge defense difference or anything like that. One thing to note about Dragon Invasion as far as resistances go, really the only resistance that really matters is the one for whatever Sylph you have on. So for me, I have Hercules on, which is pretty common. So you want high, you want high electro resistance when you're using Hercules. These bosses don't really seem to have a ton of specific elemental resistances. That's definitely not the case in Spire. The Spire bosses have very specific resistances, but here I don't think they're actually elemental, even if they're called dark something or other, or fire or something other. So we lose Robin, but I think if somebody else had died and Robin had lived, I think we could have gotten this close to the last bar. Yeah, so about a bar and a half, and then I die. So yeah, a few more hits after that. But it was still really fun to be able to get to that point, and so a big thanks to Robin, Shock, and Midori for running with me. It was very fun, and so yeah, hopefully it can be 10 soon enough. So thanks for watching, you guys. Take care, and have a very good day.